Hi guys, how you all doing? Well, let's just get right into it. Tekashi 6ix9ine. Now, the first time I heard his name, I am a Naruto fan. My three little boys, they love Naruto and they sucked me in. And I was thinking of Kakashi Sensei or the Akatsuki, but no, we're talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine, a young rapper from New York. Is he a rat or is he human? As you all know, he was just recently released and hit the block hot as ever, and we'll talk more about it. But let's just get into a little background about him. So Tekashi 6ix9ine is a young man that was born in New York. He had a Puerto Rican mom. Yes, his mom was Mexican and his dad was Puerto Rican. And at about 3 years old, his biological dad was kicked out, and then he had a stepdad after that. And then at 13 years old, his stepdad was murdered, actually just a block from where he was. And by the time he got up there, he saw his stepdad laying bloodied in the street, dead. I can't even imagine what kind of effect that may have had on him. Well, I could imagine some PTSD and things, but we'll get into that a little later. So that was his very, very early on in his years. And then after that, of course, unfortunately, his family got into a lot of poverty, worsened poverty. He had to get his clothes from out of the garbage can. Of course, he was teased in school for that. And then later on, he got a job. He was working in the local bodegas and stores. And but he and his brother later on got into selling drugs. And he also started getting on Instagram. And I don't know if y'all used to follow him. I didn't. I don't even know if I was on Instagram. Maybe I was. But anyway, he got into Instagram and got a little Instagram famous for a lot of his very shocking videos and the clothing that he would wear. When his popularity began to increase, he was just like, somebody suggested, why don't you get into the rap game? And he was like, sure, I like attention, let's do it. And it turns out he wasn't too bad at it. He was really one of the top rappers in New York for a little while there, him and Cardi B. And so he started off with a group called the Scum Gang. And they were not really like a gang per se. It was just a name they gave us, just a bunch of guys that really love to record music. They called themselves the Scum Gang. As his popularity increased, he left them and then he hooked up with the 9 Trey Bloods. That's where all the drama really began. I mean, it started before that too, because let's not forget, during that time, he actually ended up with some charges against him for underage sexual acts. Some of his videos before that just really were hypersexual and just very shocking and jarring. And I believe some of the sexual allegations against him came out during that time. Anyway, going back to his 9 Trey times, this was like a real gang involved in drug trafficking and shooting, really the usual gang activity that you think of. And he was a part of this. And some feel that he joined the 9 Treys to really build up his street cred, and they can help give him protection and just really launch him into the higher stratosphere of rap, which apparently it did help, because all of a sudden he was like the biggest thing out there. And the 9 Trey gang were also profiting from this young man because they got more exposure, more revenue was coming in because they were kind of like his managers. I don't know, something along those lines. But that all just blew up into a hot mess when they had some issues with each other, and Tekashi 6ix9ine was kidnapped, his stuff was stolen, and just all kind of drama. And he ended up going to jail later on because there's these RICO laws. So let me try to remember what it stands for. You know what? Y'all look it up. It has something to do with gang activity. Basically, what can happen is if you're a member of a gang, they can scoop you all up and you all can go to jail just because of being a part of the gang and being involved in the activity. So it's not just one person's blame for what the gang was doing. You're all blamed and you can all go to jail. And that's where he got scooped up and sent to jail. He was looking at about 47 years. He was looking at about 47 years. Suddenly he's like, this is not gonna happen to me. And he was just like, I'll be a snitch. I'll give you the feds what you need to know. And that's what he did. He handed over to the top members of the gang, and he ended up getting 24 months and 5 years probation. Some of the 24 months he'd already served, and a couple weeks ago, a week and a half, he was free and he got back on the gram. I don't know if y'all watched. I didn't. I saw the recording afterwards, but 2 million of his closest friends tuned in to see what Tekashi 6ix9ine had to say, and boy did he have to say a lot. He was saying, look, I snitched because these people were trying to sleep with my baby mama. Maybe they slept with him, I don't remember. And kidnapping, they tried to put a hit on him and kill him. They still try to steal money from him, all that. He was just like, y'all are not my people. Y'all are going down. I am not going down for you all. That's it. And if y'all were in my situation, you would do it too. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What would you do if you were in Tekashi 6ix9ine's situation? Is he a snitch, or is he just a straight up human being? Let's explore this just for 1 second. The most important thing here for you, y'all may not get tied up in gang activities, but there are situations where, do you snitch? Do you go against what your people are doing? What do you do when your back is up against the wall like this? This is what you do. The most important thing is, what are your core values? That may seem like a hard, deep thing. Dr.D-Nice, I'm in high school, what you talking about? I'm just young kid, I don't need to. You need to sit down right now and think about, what are your core values? What are the non-negotiables in your life? What do you stand for? And the more, where that is important is, it's just like, let's think about it, when like the spies in the spy movies, I'll never break, I'll never tell, you have to kill me first, because they are fully committed to their country and whatever pledge of allegiance they have made to never give up these secrets. It's kind of the same thing that you need to kind of develop. What are your core values that I'll never go against it no matter what, if it takes my life? You need to come up with your core values. And after you've done that, you'll find that it makes life a little easier. You can decide from there what you're gonna get into and what you're not gonna get into. Because here's the thing, when you're just free to kind of go and blow however you want to, your life can turn out a little 6ix9ine-ish, because you just go where the wind blows. You want to make videos exploiting underage girls. You don't care, because everything is everything. You want to sell drugs on the street. Everything is everything. You want to walk around with super provocative clothes. Everything. You want to tattoo your face all over and bright colored hair. No big deal, because everything is everything to you. And unfortunately, that kind of living will always, unfortunately, get you in trouble, kind of like it did. Because what happens is you just end up going where the wind blows, basically, is what I'm trying to say. You just don't have that core place where you make a decision, and anybody that comes along can just pull you along with them. That's kind of what with Tekashi 6ix9ine, when he joined the 9 Trey Bloods, was he thinking that later on they were going to kidnap him and try to steal his money and he was going to end up in jail? Probably not. He wasn't thinking that. He was just like, oh, hey, these people are going to help me be one of the best rappers out there. They can provide protection for me, and it's all good. Now, if one of his core values were, you know what, I'm going to be a rapper, but I'm not going to be affiliated with a gang, then guess what? He wouldn't have done it. Anyway, so you've got to know what your core values are. And here's the thing about core values. They can change as you grow and mature. As you learn and you grow and mature and you've experienced some consequences of things, maybe stealing was not your core value, but you may have gotten in trouble, you may have stolen something, gotten in trouble, and now all of a sudden it's on your core value. So these things can improve and be added to with life experience or with learning from others' experience. Hopefully from Tekashi 6ix9ine experience, you all know that trying to get clout, trying to raise up in the rap game by joining the gang may not be the right thing to do. So when is it okay to go against your core values? Let's say Tekashi 6ix9ine was really invested in this gang. He understood that the gang street life is that snitches get stitches. And he was just like, look, you know what? It is what it is, but I that's not who I am. Is it okay to go against your core values? And you know, like, it's a human thing. Sometimes we run into different circumstances that gives us more information. They're like, you know what? Maybe those core values are not worth my life anymore. You know, I think I'm okay with going against this one. It sounds like that's a decision he made. He was just like, you know, I get it, snitches get stitches, but 47 years of my life locked up when I got more raps, more bars to drop. Apparently he did, because as soon as he came out, he dropped another record that's doing really good out there on the interwebs. So, you know, there are times where it may be okay to go against your core values, but this is not a decision that you should come about really easily. You really have to sit down and really think about, is this something that I can really do and live with the consequences? Because unfortunately, when you go against something that you want to stand for, there are going to be consequences for it. And for Tekashi 6ix9ine, now I'm guessing he's going to be like a wanted man out there, not wanted by the cops, but I'm just thinking that the Bloods are not going to be quite so happy with his decision to throw a couple of their leaders under the bus like that. And you know what? I bet you he weighed the consequences, was like, you know what, my freedom is better than all of that. And the potential money I could make coming out of jail may be better than that. But back to you. There are going to be consequences when you decide to go against your core values. And you just have to be willing to understand and accept that. And don't take it lightly. Now, has there ever been a time that you have gone against your core values? What are your core values? These are things that you should probably be thinking about right now. I'll just give you an example of my own self, where I had my own core values, and each time I just had to really stand up for them. You know, like, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I go out with friends. I've been accused of being drunk a lot though, because I'm crazy. I've got a little energy on me. But I'll go out with friends and they're like, Denise, you gotta drink. How you gonna loosen up and have fun? But I think part of my core values is like, I don't drink. I just don't. I saw this one girl freshman year in college, most beautiful thing, wasted, sprawled out on the grass, and I was just like, if alcohol can reduce this Miss America potential candidate to this, laid out, sprawled out on the grass, looking like a hot mess, I don't want no part of it. You know what? I'm not as beautiful as this one. I need all the advantages I can, and I'm not going to be sprawled out like that. So one of my core values is I just don't drink. And a lot of times I've been tempted, you go places, people just swear that's the only thing you can do to have fun. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, it's not me. Tekashi 6ix9ine was a young man that was in a situation where his back was up against the wall, and he was just like, you know what? That core value of snitches get stitches is not mine anymore. It's got to go. I do not want to be in jail for whatever. These people were not loyal to me, so why will I be loyal to them? I bet you, I don't know, for some reason I'm not thinking it was a very easy decision for him to make. Or maybe it was, because he made it on day one of being arrested. Who knows? I don't know the man's heart. I'm just letting you know that right now, I don't know the young man's heart, but just understand that it's not as easy as sitting down in your living room saying, he's a snitch and he should get some stitches. No, these were some interesting situations that he found himself in. And you may never face those, but there are going to be times in your life where you're going to have to make a decision. Do I stand for my core values or not? Anyway, let me know in the comment section below what exactly are some of the core values that you stand for. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I got you. Peace and love. Can't forget love. Take care, guys. See you next week.